YouTube, it's Greg's Garage, day 16 of the WELDA challenge, and we're finally getting some paint on these lathe parts. And there you go, shop dog. After 16 days we've got to the point where we're getting some colour on some of these parts. So yesterday I showed you just the prep work that I'd done, and before I packed up for the night I shot some primer on these last night, and I came out this morning and just dusted some colour on them before I went to work. And I was hoping, because that was about 12 to 14 hours ago, I was hoping they'd be dry enough for a second coat, but they're just a little bit sticky still, so I'm not going to try and do that. It's not exactly summer here in Melbourne, so we'll let them go, and if I have to come back tomorrow night I can put another coat of colour on. But for now I think I'm going to head out and just mix up some body filler, and let's just start patching up the parts that need some filler. Alright, before I go nuts with the filler, I'm just trying to make sure I don't mess up my work later on, and I'm just wondering whether I should do some work on this surface first. This is the compound, the mount for the compound, and hopefully you can see on the camera, I think you can, but there's this is all marked out in degrees, so from 0 around to 90, and then 0 around to 90 and so forth. And this surface is a little bit ratty, and I really want to clean this up so they're a little bit more prominent when the lathe's assembled. Now I'm going to polish this up a bit, but if I polish it after I've filled it, sanded it and painted it, I don't want to damage that surface by polishing this face here. So I think I might clean this face up first, get it 99% of the way there, and then I can always just hit it with some metal polish afterwards and just finish it off. So you might disagree with that assessment, but that's the way I'm going to do it. If anyone's got any better suggestions, please put them in the comments, but I'll show you what I'm thinking of doing. And again, I'm just going to wing this because I haven't done it before, but I'm not going to use anything really abrasive on here. I don't want to damage any of these markings, so I have to be a little bit careful. So, and this cast iron, which is not particularly hard, so I'm definitely not going to use an abrasive like a sandpaper or a file or anything like that. I've got to pick something a bit softer. So I'm thinking steel wool and metal polish, or just these plastic scouring pads and metal polish. So I'm going to try the scouring pad first. That should be less abrasive, and let's just see how this comes up. Okay, it's a lot better. There is probably a bit of corrosion in some of these surfaces, so I'm just going to go to the next more abrasive product, which will be steel wool with the metal polish. Let's see how that comes up. Alright, it's probably a little better. Still some marks, and I'm pretty sure there's corrosion in there, and I really don't want, I mean, I can see some pits, very small pits in here. I think you can see those on the camera. Let's see if we can zoom right in. Yeah, out of focus. Come on, camera. Come on, Sony. No, I'll go back out. There we go. So I think there's still some corrosion pits in here. Now I've got to sand down beneath them if I really want to get them all out. I'm not going to do that, because if I sand down then I'm going to rub out all my markings on this face. So this might be as good as I get it. It'd be great if I could fill these tiny engraving marks in the surface with some red paint or white paint or something to make them stand out a bit. So happy to take advice on that. If anyone's got a smart way of doing that, just to fill in all the tiny little engraving marks, please leave us a comment. I'd love to know how to do that without making a mess of it. So, I mean, of course you could just rub some paint in and then try and wipe it off. But I've never really done that, but I'm sure someone out there has. So give me some ideas. I'd love to hear how you do it. So that's about as far as I'll go. Now I'll use some wax and grease remover, clean it all up, and then let's put some filler on it and see how it looks. I'm happy to say I really got no fucking idea what I'm doing here, but that's okay. I'm learning as I go. So if I have to put a few coats on to build it up and then sand it back, I'll be doing more sanding obviously because I'm not very skilled at putting the body filler on, but that's all right. Got to learn one way or the other, don't you? Now I really should have bought some applicators. I could probably get some more of this plastic and make one, so maybe I'll just cut up some bits of plastic and make an applicator I can use to get this stuff onto the parts. So I'm going to have some fun with this for a while. I'll get back to you later on. Okay, so I spent 5 minutes coating this, 20 minutes waiting for it to dry, and probably 30 minutes sanding it. So I don't really know whether all this effort that I'm going to is actually going to pay off. So I think the next thing I will do is just shoot this with some primer so that I can see what it looks like with a coat on it. I mean, it feels smooth, and I think I've taken out all the really rough parts, or covered them, or filled them. But until I actually put some paint on it, or a primer at least, it might be difficult to see just how good it looks. So if this isn't really paying off, I will probably forego the filling part. I think this is the 2016 WELDA challenge, and I need to finish it in August 2016, not August 2017. So let's just see how we go once I put some primer on here. I mean, the thing with primer and a bit of filler, I figure if it doesn't work, I can always just strip it off again with a wire wheel, even though it might put me back a bit. At least I'll know for sure. So I've put some filler on a couple of other parts, so I'm not going to sand those until I've painted this with some primer, just to see how it looks. So I think I'll do that tonight, and that'll be it for tonight, day 16. Thanks for watching.